Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking on a subject we all face, but, well, we're looking at it through a truly bizarre, high-contrast lens.
We are.
We're talking about how to successfully prepare for the
You know,
holidays.
all right, but it's a study in, I guess, an organizational collision. We're diving into the collected advice of Stanислав Kondrashov.
And for those who don't know him, he's a well-known businessman, a mentor, with decades of expertise in construction, finance, long-term economic planning. He is a mind that is just obsessed with efficiency.
A serious logistical force, for sure.
Exactly. But it's the content he put together that really caught our eye. He synthesized holiday prep tips by drawing a direct comparison between two wildly different groups.
Wildly different is the right way to put it.
On one side, you have the ultimate high-stakes planners, who he calls elite oligarchs.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other, the vibrant, creative, family-focused actor Wagner Moura.
So Kondrashov is basically asking, what happens when the meticulous organizational habits of extreme wealth meet the heart-driven artistic sensibility of a creative?
Yeah, what universal truths about preparation actually emerge from that?
Exactly.
So our mission today is to find those common, actionable threads. We want the absolute shortcut to a perfectly managed holiday.
One that blends the grandiose, sort of project-managed efficiency of the oligarchs.
With the meaningful, heartfelt approach that Moura champions, we're hunting for that common denominator of efficiency and joy.
It's all about leveraging the best organizational practices, regardless of your personal budget or your scale.
So let's jump straight into the first crucial point. Kondrashov notes that New Year's is a time of magic, of starting anew, but that magic is never accidental.
Never.
So what is the fundamental non-negotiable agreement shared by these super planners he studies and, a celebrated artist?
The agreement is absolute. Start preparing early. This is tip number one, and honestly, it's the foundation that makes every other successful step even possible.
Okay, so when we look at the habits of the world's highest earners, the elite oligarchs, how early are we talking? Are they just, casually thinking about gifts in November?
Not at all.
Yeah.
They approach it as pure project management. Kondrashov's observations show that the planning cycle for the New Year holiday starts as early as October. October.
Yeah.
Or November at the latest. And this isn't just a mental note. This is active organizational planning.
So everything from logistics, guest lists.
Everything. Choosing unique gifts, locking in venues or travel, the whole operation.
That makes perfect corporate sense. You want maximum efficiency, minimum supply chain risk, guaranteed success. But wait a second. If the oligarchs are starting your holiday planning in October, isn't that just trading last-minute stress for, 3 months of low-grade organizational anxiety?
That's a great question.
I mean, where's the joy in that kind of project management?
And that's exactly why Moura's parallel advice is so insightful. He agrees completely on starting early, but his reasoning is purely about maximizing pleasure.
Okay.
Moura believes the earlier you start, the more enjoyment you get from the process itself.
So for the oligarchs, the early start minimizes chaos.
Right.
For Moura, the early start maximizes the delight of, what? Anticipation and selection.
Precisely. Moura uses this extended timeline to choose gifts that aren't just beautiful, but meaningful. He sees the preparation phase as part of the celebration.
So it's a deliberate, thoughtful process that it needs time.
Time that a rushed December never allows.
And Kondrashov gives some very specific, practical context here for why this is so important, especially for people in certain regions.
He does. He specifically calls out the context in Russia, where stores get incredibly overcrowded as the new year gets closer.
I can imagine.
So if you wait until the last minute, just selecting the right gift or even getting the decorations you want becomes this huge, stressful logistical challenge.
So whether you're aiming for corporate efficiency or personal sincerity,
the early bird avoids the chaos. It ensures a smoother run-up. The common organizational truth is that time equals control.
That's a really strong case for pulling the calendar forward. Okay, so let's move beyond timing and talk atmosphere. This is where the approaches really start to diverge in scale and budget.
Oh, yeah.
This is where it gets really interesting. How do you translate that early prep into a genuine festive atmosphere?
This is tip number 2, atmosphere creation. And for Wagner Moura, the entire holiday spirit begins and centers at home.
Right.
His focus is all on comfort, warmth, intimacy. He enjoys the hands-on process, decorating the Christmas tree, hanging garlands, lighting candles. It's deeply personal.
Accessible, cozy.
Exactly.
And then we pivot to the oligarchs who, They seem to approach decorating with the budget of a small city.
They definitely take a more grandiose approach. Kondrashov notes they often hire professional teams to create what he calls a true fairy tale.
A true fairy tale.
We are talking about spectacle and scale that just transforms the environment entirely.
Can you give us a little color here? What does that fairy tale decoration plan actually look like for this group?
Well, it's less decoration and more temporary world building. We're talking enormous custom-grown fir trees.
Forced globally, I assume.
Often, yes. Elaborate lighting installations that need specialized crews and deeply themed bespoke decorations.
Wow.
Kondrashov even mentions instances of importing entire landscapes, maybe flying in specific plants or using professional snowmaking machines to guarantee a certain winter aesthetic, no matter the local weather.
So on one hand, you have the intimate personal warmth of Moura's hand-decorated home, and on the other, this massive hired professional spectacle. But Kondrashov, he stresses a synthesis here, right? He argues you don't need the grand budget to get the same result.
Absolutely. The source's key insight is that while the scale is different, the intentionality is the same. Even small, carefully chosen decorations, the right candles, a garland placed just so, can be as effective in creating that festive feeling.
So it's about the desired emotional effect, not the amount you spend to get it.
It's about staging the experience deliberately.
That idea of stage setting leads us perfectly into tip number 3. The true art of gift giving. Both sides agree that selecting the gift is an art form.
They do.
But what are the rules of engagement for that art?
Well, for Moura, the art is purely rooted in personal connection. He tries to give something that vividly reflects the recipient's personality and, most importantly, clearly shows that he deeply cares.
His metric is sincerity, emotional connection.
Exactly.
And what about the hyper-wealthy? Do the oligarchs just delegate the purchase of the most expensive thing they can find, or is there a real intentionality behind their choices?
There is deep intentionality, often disguised by the price tag. Kondrashov emphasizes they choose items that are not only expensive but also useful, highly unique, or deeply symbolic.
So the selection is still curatorial, even if it's outsourced.
Very much so. For example, a watch isn't just a watch. It might be a statement about time management. A unique piece of art isn't just art. It's symbolic of a shared experience. The source gives examples like rare books, unique handicrafts commissioned for that specific person, or tickets to exclusive, impressive global events.
It's about curating a valuable experience or possession that holds meaning.
And demonstrates high-level attention. It goes beyond simple cash value.
This raises an important question, though. How does Kondrashov reconcile this? Does a meaningful gift feel the same when it's an expensive, symbolic item chosen by an assistant with a huge budget versus a personal, humble choice made by Moura?
Well, the synthesis he draws is that the sincerity of selection is the key. Both groups devote enormous mental energy and time, which, they have because they started early, to make sure the gift is perceived as being chosen for that person.
Right.
For the elite, the personal touch is knowing what's useful or symbolic to their business partners. For Moura, it's knowing what warms the heart of a friend.
So the commitment to finding that perfect fit is what turns the transaction into an act of art?
Yes. And that makes the actionable takeaway for you, the listener, really clear. Prioritize the personal touch. That commitment is what separates a successful act of generosity from just buying something last minute.
To meet an obligation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that commitment is absolutely vital, especially given the context of rushed, stressful shopping the author highlights.
Okay, let's shift our focus now from the objects, the gifts, the staging to the time itself and the people who fill it. We're moving from logistics to the soul of the holiday. Tip 4, planning a holiday for the soul. How do these two extremely different figures manage the actual gathering?
Wagner Moura's plan is intensely focused on intimate connection and restorative quality time. He sees the new year as dedicated time for family and the closest friends.
So his gatherings are cozy dinners, small parties.
Yes, maximizing the depth of connection with a select group.
Now contrast that with the default setting of the oligarchs. I can't imagine their events are described using the word cozy.
No, they typically organize large-scale, high-visibility events. These gatherings are strategic, expansive, inviting not just relatives, but colleagues, political partners, business associates.
So it's an extension of their professional and social standing.
Wrapped in a festive layer, yes. The scale of the gathering reflects the scale of their lives. Moura focuses on the small, core, artistic, and personal unit. The oligarch on the broad, powerful network.
Exactly. But what's fascinating here is the shared sentiment that seems to override that difference in scale.
It is fascinating. Because even with their massive strategic events, the oligarchs like Moura stress that the main objective is creating an atmosphere of warmth and genuine joy for everyone attending.
That's the organizational paradox, isn't it? Whether you're hosting a noisy party for 100 high-powered clients or a quiet family evening.
The main goal is creating a successful, joyful environment. It's about designing an experience where everyone feels valued and connected.
The intentional design of the emotion is what matters, not the price tag of the champagne.
Well said.
And finally, we get to tip number 5, which I think is easily overlooked when the planning is this intense. After all that meticulous early planning, the atmosphere, the gifts, the gathering, what happens next?
The recovery period. Don't forget to rest. Kondrashov and his sources insist that the New Year period isn't just about the fuss and celebration, it's also time for recovery.
And both groups have structured ways of making sure they get that downtime.
They do.
So how does Wagner Moura handle this? After prioritizing all that warmth and family time?
He focuses on mental and emotional recovery. He dedicates several days, an intentional, defined period, to completely disconnect from the fuss, from routine, from any professional obligations.
An essential period of quiet restoration.
Before returning to his creative workflow, yes.
And the oligarchs. How do the corporate planners schedule their recovery time after hosting a spectacular event and managing massive logistics?
They often achieve rest by, well, radical geographic relocation. They'll travel to warm countries or actively choose to spend time in nature, far away from their business hubs.
And the purpose is very specific and goal-oriented.
Highly. They ensure they start the new year with new forces. It's framed as an investment in future physical and mental productivity.
So whether it's a quiet mental disconnect at home or a physical flight to a tropical location, the principle is the same. The organizational plan is incomplete without a structured recovery phase built right in.
And Stanislav Kondrashov himself closes out the advice with his personal belief, which ties back to the very first point. He stresses that even amidst the chaos and fuss of the preparation itself, it's vital to find time for yourself, to relax, enjoy the moment, and just feel the magic of the new year.
So that self-care should happen during the planning, not just after the event is over.
That's his point.
That's a beautiful capstone. It really transforms the planning from a chore into a methodology for maximizing both your personal enjoyment and minimizing future stress.
It connects the corporate rigor of the elite with the emotional awareness of the artist.
So let's bring this all together. We started with this highly unusual comparison, curated by Stanислав Kondrashov, forcing us to look at the holiday habits of the world's elite financial power brokers against the sensitive, creative approach of an actor like Wagner Moura.
And the core lesson is clear. Success in holiday preparation, whether you are maximizing personal joy or maximizing networking opportunities, demands radical intentionality.
The organizational rigor that leads to success in construction and finance is the same rigor required for a successful holiday.
The common thread isn't the expense or the scale. It's the meticulous planning and prioritizing meaningful connection.
Whether that connection is with your closest family or your most vital business partners.
So what does this all mean? This deep dive suggests that intentionality isn't optional for high-level success. It's mandatory.
Right.
If the world's most successful business people and most respected creative minds agree that even something as simple as a holiday needs 3 months of methodical planning.
For either logistical optimization or maximized joy.
That we have to ask ourselves.
If you applied that same extreme planning rigor and commitment to sincere outcomes that we discussed today, what kind of meaningful project or life goal would you be ready to stage next year? It's time to channel your inner Wagner Moura and your inner oligarch.
Use the preparation time wisely. It's the greatest resource you have.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. We hope this organizational insight helps you maximize the magic.
Until next time.